won't you bring a little water? Bring a little wine. Bring a little loving, and I'll be fine. Come in here and love with me.
Alright, cut it out! So I just saw Quentin Tarantino's 9th film, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and it was good. Now, I love me some Tarantino, one of my favorite directors working today, and I was so pumped to see his newest film. The basic premise, much like a lot of his other movies, isn't so well defined as it likes to delve into several sides of a story, even if you can't say in short words what the premise is. As barebone as I can say it, it's about an actor and a stuntman who tried to make it to fame in Hollywood during the times of the Manson murders. If that description didn't sell you enough, then why are you even watching this? Joking aside though, I really did enjoy this movie. I can't really say it's the absolute best I've seen from Tarantino, but I can certainly say that it's the best movie currently showing in theaters. Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt are the true bread and butter of this movie. Their chemistry is so good, they make the scene so engaging as if the directing of this movie isn't enriching enough for you. I love how Leonardo DiCaprio showcases his acting prowess as a man who feels both lost and innovative in his career. He's worried about his career going to shit as an actor, but when he's acting, he's living in the moment and loving it. As for Brad Pitt, he is so goddamn cool in this movie. He's like the ideal movie badass. He's good looking, ripped, got tattoos and battle scars, never loses his cool, and he keeps his composure even when he's forced to fight someone. Just the king of cool. And the more I think about it, he's a lot like a cooler version of Russell Crowe from The Nice Guys, which is a plus in my book. As for Margot Robbie, she's also really good. She does her job just fine, and she's in all the ads, but she barely does anything here. And even though this film takes place in an alternate timeline, her actions speak volumes if you understand the history of her and her relationship with Roman Polanski, and as well as the time period and all that such. She has very few lines, much like a lot of the actors here. There are so many great actors in this movie though, and you're thinking that this is going to be like an ensemble cast, kind of like, you know, The Hateful Eight, but each of them only have briefly like 1 or 2 scenes, maybe even less. You know, Al Pacino, Michael Madsen, Dakota Fanning, Lena Dunham, Bruce Dern, Emile Hirsch, Kurt Russell, and barely 5 minutes on screen. Kind of like how Kingsman 2 really pushed the big name actors in the trailer, yet barely utilized them. But that's not necessarily a bad thing as long as the characters are doing what they should for the story, and the actors, famous or not, are filling those roles. But a problem I do have with this film is that some sequences are a little bit more stretched out than they should, particularly in the second and third act. Like sometimes the following scene takes on a new style and kinda overstays its welcome, until it eventually gets back to Tarantino's conventional storytelling. And this is for the most part definitely one of his more laid back movies, not just from the dialogue driven scenes, but there aren't any real times where there's a lot at stake, thus lowering the tension when little to none is to be found. However, I will say, sit through the whole movie and you'll get your satisfying Tarantino shtick as what still sits as a good movie. And to complement it, it's a great movie about making movies, which is one of my favorite types of movies. There's a few scenes that go on for a bit showing Leonardo DiCaprio's character in action, whether from a TV episode, a behind-the-scenes featurette, or a scene from a movie they're currently filming. It makes you feel both engaged in the side movie, the story, and the filmmaking aspect. Honestly, this is more of a chilled-out Tarantino film, and if you can be engaged in this dialogue-heavy film for 2.5 hours, I recommend you see it as soon as possible. Still a great 9th piece by Tarantino, and I can't wait for number 10.
Great fucking dog.